if you would tell us a little bit about who you are and your name and your SIGs and why you think SIGs are important.
Okay. I'm Reginald Nettles. I'm a member of the AGPA Board of Directors. I'm in the Racial and Ethnic Diversity SIG, the the GLBT SIG, the Private Practice SIG, the Chronic Illness and Disabilities SIG. Probably at least one more that I can't think of offhand.
And what do you feel has been valuable to you about being in the SIGs?
What I find really valuable, well, there are a couple of things. One is for concentrated information about a specific area that's less broad than all of AGPA. So, for instance, when I'm in touch with the Private Practice SIG, or when I'm in touch with, for instance, recently I've been in touch with the Chronic Illness and Disability SIG, because I'm wanting to set up certain groups for that particular population. So I wanted to connect with the chair of that SIG, who does quite a bit of work in that. So I have a resource that I can go to within that SIG. Other SIGs, like for instance the Racial and Ethnic Diversity SIG, I'm real aware that AGPA is a vastly, predominantly white organization, and by the year 2025, whites will not be the majority in this country. And AGPA recognizes that it needs to get on board with doing more to bring more racial and ethnic minorities into AGPA. So I'm very interested in that work. And the SIG kind of provides a professional home for people who are in any particular SIG. Some of us will have several professional homes in that sense, but one can pick and choose.
Great. Sarah, what special interest group brought you here?
Well, I attended my first AGPA conference in 2010 in San Diego and showed up at the special interest group meeting for addiction and recovery, as I was a paraprofessional at the time working in a drug and alcohol treatment center. And I got nominated in that first meeting to be a co-chair starting the following year. So since then, I've been a co-chair of the Addiction and Recovery Special Interest Group. And what I absolutely love about it is that not only do we provide a space for others in the group psychotherapy field who specialize in addiction and recovery, to share resources and ideas and air frustrations with working with that population. We've also done a lot to create a space for those within AGPA who identify as being in recovery themselves, providing resources for them, such as our daily 12-step meeting, which is all-inclusive of all 12-step programs. And we've gotten a lot of feedback over the years that that is something people specifically look forward to when they come to conferences, and they feel more at home in this organization, being recognized both as professionals and as members of 12-step recovery.
That's great.
So I'm Katie Steele, and I'm a psychologist in private practice. And when I came, the SIG that I most want to talk about is the women's SIG, because when I came to my first AGPA about 18 years ago, I went to a women's SIG meeting, and I was all by myself. I didn't know anybody in the organization. I didn't know what I was getting into at all when I came here, but when I went to the Women's SIG, I felt like I was a part of a subgroup, kind of a group that I identified with, and I immediately got mentorship. So that's one of the things that the Women's Special Interest Group is particularly strong on, is hooking up more senior people with some new people coming in to help them feel comfortable within the organization, find that where their unique talents might fit, to make a contribution, because being part of volunteering is always a huge way to connect as well. So the Women's Special Interest Group has just been immensely powerful in my life, and I was a co-chair for a number of years there too.
Now, do your SIGs have contact throughout the year? in addition to at this meeting?
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit about that?
Right. We have contact through the AGPA communities, which is kind of I don't know quite how to describe it, but it's on the AGPA website.
It's a listserv.
It's a listserv. Okay, so one can go in there and pick up messages, send messages, receive messages to any of the SIGs that one belongs to, as well as the general AGPA listserv, I guess that's what it's called. But yeah, that keeps the contact going throughout the year. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how your SIG special interest group functions throughout the year, not only at the annual meeting.
Right. Throughout the year, we can be in touch through the AGPA website, which has several listservs, one for each SIG, as well as other aspects of AGPA. So one can be in touch with members. And for instance, if you connect with someone at a conference, you really don't have their contact information. If you know what SIG they belong to, you can go into the SIG and get directly in touch with them. I've certainly been in touch with members of several of the SIGs that I belong to for a variety of reasons throughout the year between conferences.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, does your SIG connect in between?
We also have a listserv because there's one for each SIG, and there's been some traffic. We're trying to get that up. So at our meeting this year for our special interest group, we talked about how valuable that can really be as a resource among others who work in the field of addiction and recovery. And we have had one teleconference that was sort of an open discussion based around addiction and recovery and being professionals who maybe also identify as being in recovery themselves or not, maybe just wanting to learn more about it. And so we were able to have a discussion over teleconference about that. So we're looking into other ways to maybe do maybe more face-to-face throughout the year interaction, like through the internet, video, so that we have a space to touch base throughout the year, maybe for 12-step meetings, maybe just to have discussions.
Great. I know when I was co-chair of the Groups in Private Practice SIG, and we had quite a bit of traffic on the e-community, but also used, we had a distance learning event in an evening where we just we came up with a topic about marketing your practice and then provided people with the opportunity to get on the phone without having to pay, just to be part of a discussion about it. And it was a great discussion. That's been very valuable.
I understand that the Women's SIG is planning to do something like that with either a book or a movie, everybody watching it and then getting on e-communities and discussing it.
That's great.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll work really well.
Anything else that you'd like to say about personally for you, why being a member of a special interest group is important to you?
Well, it has certainly helped me feel more at home within AGPA, especially being a member of a couple of different SIGs, several different SIGs actually. Whenever I'm at AGPA, I'm always connecting the people that I know through the SIGs.
So it's a way of getting to know people before you even get here.
Yeah.
And having connections so that when you get here, you know, you have somebody to have lunch with,
you
have somebody to go out for a drink with.
Right.
The other thing I think that's really important is that for new people coming in who might be wanting scholarships, the special interest groups give endowed scholarships to people, and also they sponsor programs. So if you're going to do, like I'm hoping to do a private practice program, and I'm going to go to the private practice SIG and ask if they'll sponsor it. So
that's an important piece that the SIGs offer: sponsorship and co-sponsorship for programs that one wants to present at the conference. If the SIG sponsors or co-sponsors, all those SIGs are listed under the title of the program. Under the title of the program that you're presenting in the conference overall program.
Another thing that I think is real important to let people know is that even if you're not signed up as a member of a SIG, anyone can come to any of the SIG meetings. And so they're open to anyone who's here at the conference, whether they're a member of AGPA or not, just to walk in and be part of a SIG meeting.
I've found being a member of the Addiction and Recovery SIG, and I'm a member of several other SIGs as well, but most of my energy obviously goes to the one I'm co-chairing right now. And personally, from the beginning, it definitely helped me feel at home here. AGPA is a very large group of people, and it can be quite overwhelming. So I remember as a first-time attendee really feeling comfortable walking into a room of a much smaller group of people who work in a similar profession, where we had even more direct areas to connect over within group psychotherapy. And so I just really appreciate it, value it. I try to get everyone to join my SIG and everyone else's. It provides more of a sense of community that I think we all keep returning to AGPA for.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sherry.
I appreciate you talking about this with me.
Thanks.
Okay.
You're welcome.